All right. Today we have Mike St. Pierre on to join with us, talk about his J6 experience, life after, and the battles he's gone through dealing with this. Thanks for joining us, Mike.
Yes, sir. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, no problem. You got a kind of an interesting story. You did it seemed like you were doing a lot of great things with your grocery store business prior to J6. It's kind of intriguing. I've got a few pictures, or I got one picture at least of that, where it looks like you do like a game or almost like you have like a game show with it.
Yeah, I got silly with the stores. I got silly with it. I didn't want to stay bored. I had to make things up.
Yeah,
give back more. The more I made, the more you try to give back.
Yeah,
make it fun.
And then
that's when I started. Yeah, that was back in like 2014 or something like that, 15 or 14. That was my first.
Your big thing was you wanted to make affordable groceries, right? Is that basically what you were trying to do?
Yeah, because before that I was a roofing foreman, and I was doing that for a while, and it was good pay, but it was not morally driven. Really, you're not really, what are you helping people with? So right. I started going to these local auctions, and I used to go to them when I was a really young kid with my grandmother, man, and I loved them. So when my buddy was that I was roofing with, he's like, hey, I'm going to this auction. I get this stuff. And he starts bringing in stuff he got, like, snacks and shit. I'm like, oh, man, I got to check that out, dude. So the first day I went, dude, I was hooked. Then I started every week, dude. And it just happened that the guy was opening his first discount store. And he's like, you need a job? Want to work my store? And I'm like, hell yeah, I want to work your store. And then I just went from there. And I did that for like 3 years, his place. And then I just opened with the auction store, my first store, because I started with him in like 2012. And I was hooked on it.
Right on. If you don't mind, I'll show one of your videos where it looked like you were giving away a whole free pallet of cakes, I believe.
Yeah, that was, before they...
Oh, Go ahead. You want me to play the audio, or you? I didn't know if you want to talk or.
No, that was my last tour. That was after I got arrested, I believe. Yeah, I think that was after I got arrested.
Right on.
That was, I think, the last year I was in business. After I got arrested, everything went downhill, but I was still trying to maintain it at that time,
Right on.
But it was dying, so I would get stuff like that. I would get pallets of like stuff like that, and instead of trying to sell it all, right? I mean, get stuck with, you give it away, so.
Yeah, you do mention in there that you don't even have to buy anything if you just come in and get that if you want.
Yeah, you got to give it away. You can't sit there and try to be selling everything. If you get something like that, that happened a lot. That happened a lot over the years, definitely over the years. You get these different contacts. You get it cheap enough. You don't really need to be. You can give them freebies away. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it helps people out. So.
Yeah. You care if I play that 3-minute video that's on your Twitter? I feel like that's an important part of your story.
Oh, go ahead.
St. Pierre, the rise, fall, and fight to rebuild after J6. For over a decade.
I'm not sure why. It seemed like it didn't.
I built something real.
There we go.
Something. Michael St. Pierre, the rise, fall, and fight to rebuild after J6. For over a decade, I lived the American dream. I built something real, something that mattered. I dedicated much of my life to making groceries affordable. From 2010 to 2023, my discount grocery store saved families millions. I didn't just sell food. I made shopping an experience. Prize wheels, giveaways.
One of my favorite new stores.
And unbeatable deals weren't just promotions. They were my way of giving back. I worked 60+ hours a week, ensuring families could afford quality groceries. Seeing kids' faces light up. Candy bars 3 for $1 and up to 10 for $1. Parents excited with the substantial savings. It made the grind worth it. My stores weren't just a place to shop. They were a community staple. Then everything changed. The fall. Like many, I attended the J6 rally to stand for what I believed in. What followed was a nightmare. The backlash was immediate. My business was targeted. Boycotts, death threats. and social media attacks poured in. Customers disappeared. My longtime partner left, taking my stepdaughter and walking away from the chaos. The pressure was unbearable. Then came the final blow. In July 2023, the FBI stormed my store and arrested me. I was charged with multiple offenses, including the bogus 1512 charge, later overturned by the Supreme Court. But the damage was done. My business collapsed. My reputation destroyed. A decade of hard work erased. Now I fight just to survive. I'm facing eviction from my home of 15 years. My truck, my last asset, will be repossessed on April 3rd. My credit score, once in the mid-700s, is now well under 500. I took a loan to save my business. But with no income, it's defaulted. I've gone from a thriving entrepreneur to a man struggling to make ends meet. And I am not alone. The fight for justice isn't just my story. It's the story of over 1,600 patriots who dared to stand up and are now paying the price. The government weaponized its power to silence us. We've lost our businesses, homes, reputations, and even families. A few are still rotting in prison. Others, like me, are still fighting just to survive. We call on America's patriots, the 80+ million who believe in justice, in freedom, and standing up for those crushed under this political persecution. We need a J6 fund to help those suffering from this abuse of power. We were honored to stand up for you. Now, we need you to stand for us. God is watching. He sees how we respond, how we lift up those who fight for freedom. Hate has no place in his will. The true enemy isn't those who seek truth. It's those who criminalize and dissent to maintain control. It's time to act. Stand with us. Support the J6 Fund. Bring justice to those who risked everything. God bless America. And our President Donald J. Trump.
Do you know offhand, is there any actual J6 fund?
No,
No.
no, they just tinkled with it for now. I'm glad I saved all that videos and photos over the years too.
Right. I didn't know if maybe someone had started, if there was multiple J6 funds started, or
There's just lawsuits in the back,
Right
but
on.
not really. They're like in the backdrop right now, but there's no set fund. There's not. We don't know what's going on with that. That's just all speculative. You know what I mean?
right on. So basically everything that's helping the J6ers that you're aware of is coming from probably from other J6ers or friends and families of those people.
Yeah, the community is huge. So I mean, I've been blessed to have a few people donate to mine, and like I said, I'm new to Twitter in a sense. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
hard to get your message out there, and then you got a lot of people struggling. So I think everybody's pretty much struggling nowadays. You know what I mean? So it's not easy. Like
Right.
that's why I think it's harder for us to even get jobs now, just because the way the economy is. It's like there's really not a lot out there, you know, unless you want to work at like a Walmart or a Target or something, I guess. But
Yeah. Gas station, fast food.
gas stations. But if you got a child support order like me and you can't meet it, the judges don't want to hear, hey, I'm working at Walmart for $60 an hour. It's not going to cover the child support, you know?
Right. If you don't mind me asking, since it's fresh on my memories from the video, did your car get repoed on Friday?
No, believe it or not, my ex-girlfriend came here the other day and she needed a vehicle, so she was like, I'll give you the money and if you let me use the car.
Right on.
And I'm like, you know what? It's better than losing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can take it for a few months, make the payments. And so, yeah, she came through with that. So she'll take that.
Right on.
Right.
I mean,
I just had to fill out like some kind of program that the states have. And that was a big process. I started that application on like January 29th, and it's not even done yet. In other words, they're still waiting for the final approval on it. And this is April 7th, so
right.
that takes a long time. Because other than that, would have been evicted already, you know. So
Oh shoot, yeah.
but I mean, that's one day at a time, because it's never ending. So just because it gets paid, it's still going to get paid next month and then the month after. So
right.
There's got to get these miracles to keep dropping on my lap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't open another store.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, because I assume your credit score and everything, you're not going to be able to get the loans. Do you think you could get private investors at all? No, not even.
I was doing good with all that stuff. I was doing really good. I mean, I had a marriage, so I got a divorce, so I had a bankruptcy that ended in like 2022, dude. So that bankruptcy ended, and I just started using. Obviously, I had the stores by then, and I just started utilizing credit, and it went from like a 5 something to like a 750, 760. So I had it perfect,
Yeah.
Then that J6. So now it's like 4 something. It's like that's like everything, You just get a pile of bills. You know what I mean? You get electric shut off, gas shut off. It's my whole point about this nonchalant administration. You know what I mean? It's like the pardons are not a like get out of friggin' debt card. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're so minimal. So minimal. They don't even touch the surface of these people getting back on their feet. Especially if you have your lifestyle. Right? If you have a lifestyle, if you had a business, as many have, and what do you do if you lose all that? It's not like you can just open up another business. Now you're tied into like these rents and, like, I don't know. I'm 48, dude. My mother don't want me living with her. And she loves me. I love her, but she don't want me living with her. You know what I mean?
I get it.
Small little house, and too much pride for that shit. I live in a dumpster first. I think I probably had to live in a dumpster first before I burdened my mother any more than this shit's hadn't burdened her,
Right.
Yeah. It's tough when you're always the provider and then you got to like flip and then like, it's like you need help. You're not going to ask for it. It's hard to ask for help when you're always been independent and a provider. And then it falls on you to ask for help.
Right.
So, I don't ask people for help. I set up the J6 fund. I'm like desperate, but I don't post it a lot either. You know what I mean? I'll post it and then I'll just like, leave it alone just because it's hard. It's hard to even bring it up because it's a smack in the face.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know people like helping, but for us, it's hard. It's definitely hard for us to ask for help.
Yeah.
So that just ties into like it's like mental anguish. It's just like, we don't want to do it, but it's like, what else are we going to do?
Right.
And like every day that goes by, it's just like things get worse, and you got the administration farting around with meme coins and gold cards. You know what I'm saying? That's the important thing: is the meme cards and the gold coins, the J6s. Hey, I pardon you guys. You know what I mean? You're on your own. Deal with it.
Right.
And he wants to do the right thing, but it's all political. It's like you don't want to look like, oh my God, they're funding the terrorists. Well, dude, get the information out so it don't look as bad. What can I tell you? You know, like you guys had years. You guys know what's going on. Cash Patel went in there talking all this. He knows what's going on. So it's not like it's a secret. But I get it. It's so corrupt, hundreds and hundreds, that it's like they're tippy-toeing everything to try to get to this one and get this and get. I know. I understand what they're doing. Just put a fund out there then, dude. If I can put a fund, end it, you know what I mean? And then we'll wait for the rest. Like, but put a fund, man. You just went and seen Mark Zuckerberg, dude. He's got a court case coming up on the 14th. Tell him to give you fucking $2 billion for the fucking J6 fund, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
$1 billion, whatever. He's going to lose 40, 60, 200 billion in the antitrust case anyways. But these are all things that like I know, and it's like that's what I get aggravated about. Because it's always about money, like, private J6 fund, dude. Nobody's going to care. It's taxpayers. When you take it out of their money, of course they're going to care. A lot of people be pissed. But if it's a private fund, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
From people that got money, it's like.
I get it.
Who the hell am I? You know what I mean? I'm not a business owner no more, guy. I don't got no more pool guy, bro, dude. It doesn't matter.
No, I get it.
You know what I mean? I'm just a Swansea guy.
I hear you.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, like in the time before J6 happened, like what was kind of, I mean, it seems like life was going good for you.
Yeah. So I wasn't a political guy. I didn't vote. I never voted. And I never voted. I liked Trump because I like that's always how I was, like outspoken, like, you know, if it hurts your feelings, like I guess it hurts your feelings, and like it's like, but I can't sit there and tell you you're beautiful if you're not. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I can't stroke your ego. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, when COVID came, I was just open Family Foods. Like, dude, Family Foods took me 9 months to open. It took me like 90 grand, mostly borrowed money, and I worked on that because it was an old Rite Aid, CVS type building, and I worked on that for 6 months straight with a couple of friends because we couldn't hire people because it would be wicked expensive. So
Right.
we worked day and night at that place, bro. Then we got it open, and we did like 20. I did like 21 grand on my grand open. It was phenomenal. So I was like, yeah, I did it. And you know, for me, it's big time because you know it's you're right up there with the big boys. Now you're with the CVS's. You know what I mean? You're at that level. You're not just a small mom and pop shop anymore. So, and plus I had the big following on Facebook, so I was known, you know, in the area fairly well. So, and then COVID came, dude, like 6 months into it, 7 months into it, and I was like, nah, this ain't right. Something's wrong. It doesn't feel right, dude. It felt off right away to me. I'm like, nah, this doesn't happen in this country. We don't do this. We don't keep people locked in their houses. We don't make kids and wear masks, and we don't do all this shit. So I started getting fined. People, my own customers calling on me.
Oh,
That pissed me off so bad, dude. I'm over here serving my community, and then the next thing you know, because I'm not wearing a mask throughout my store, because I'm mostly working warehouse, you know.
Right.
I'm back and forth quick. They were calling on me and shit, and then you know my mouth right back at him online, so that just alienated customers even more. He's arrogant. He's this. Let him know. I'm just trying to be honest and outspoken. You know what I mean? I don't want to wear a mask. Like I don't want to look like you wearing a mask like that.
Right.
You know? So I knew why the old people wearing a mask, but the kids and shit was really pissed me off because I had the stepdaughter at the time, and they were making her wear it at school, and she was like wicked aggravated wearing it, dude. You know, she didn't want to. No kids don't want that on there, dude. You see kids outside and just freaking running around with masks on. It was so insane, dude. Stupid shit. You know, like one guy one day, he's walking out at McDonald's, bro. This guy's huge, bro. This guy's 400 plus, bro. I'm telling you. And some other girl's walking in, and she has her mask down below her chin. This guy's walking out with a fucking big bag of McDonald's, a large fucking soda, dude, and he's yelling at her. And I'm like, who the fuck you yelling at, dude?
Right.
You're walking out of McDonald's with poison, guy, like chemicals, and you're yelling at her about a mask. I said, you're consuming more danger in that bag and that soda than anything. What are you worried about? You know? But that's how they are. They don't say nothing because they're just mouths.
Right.
They're just look what they're doing now. They're just evil. They're just evil people. Violence. Everything is like, you know, hypocrites. Big time hypocrites. But yeah, so COVID, when COVID happened, then I had the state down at my store. Then I had like the local police came down. So then I started attacking like the city council and all that in Fall River. So that just made it worse for me, and I started getting like fined. Then they gave me like a temporary closure. They put like a red tag on my store, and that was right before January 6th. So when January 6th came up, I was ready.
Right on.
I went there fucking aggravated. Let's just put it that way, dude. And I went there aggravated, and I almost didn't even go because me and my girl were sitting at the table, and we were just sitting there. This is like midnight, dude. And I just turned to her and I said, "Do you want to go?" Because she was really like into it at the time more than me. You know, like I said, I was never really political, but she was a big time Trump supporter too. So she was like, "Yeah." So then I'm like, you know what? It's just me and her. I call my son up. By this time, it's like 1 a.m. And I call my nephew, his friend, and they're like, "Oh, they all want to go."
Right.
So we swooped them all up, and we just started heading down there. You know, getting there like the day before, and we stood at the Trump International. Well, me and my girl did because that shit was expensive, even for a business owner. Because we got tickets, it was over $1,000, I think.
Jeez.
Last minute, you know what I mean, dude? We only got them like a week before or something. So the prices were already going up.
Right.
So we got in there, and you know, just normal. It was cool. And January 6th came, and you know, you go around. I actually was the night before I was actually filming Proud Boys. And they were like, "Come on!" They wanted to go back to the hotel, and I'm like, "No, hell no!" I'm like, "We're out here. I want to see these Proud Boys like kick some Antifa ass." So I actually had my phone, and I was doing some recording with between Proud Boys and Antifa, and I remember them running down like this alleyway, and I was just following them with my camera. My girl was like, "Come on, come back." So I couldn't go too far out because, and they weren't really fighting too bad then, but. So I took that, and then like the next day, the next day it was just like everybody says, it was just, it was cool. It was cool. It was patriotic as hell. We stood for the whole speech, so we didn't get down to the Capitol area, that West Side entrance till it was like a little bit past 2. Like the video, we have video because my nephew takes video of everything, so he's awesome for that. So I used a lot of his video because he was with me, and it was like just a little over 2 p.m. when we got on the West Lawn, and it was so weird, dude. It's like, you go to a concert, bro, and you walk on the lawn, and they have like porta johns laid out and shit, like, you know what I mean, ahead of you and shit. That's what it was like. It was like you walk on the lawn, dude. You got all these people, and you got porta johns in front of you. We're so far from the Capitol at this point, so it's like you can see like the stairs, but you can't see like the bottom half of the Capitol. So we just settled, dude. We just like went to where the farthest we could walk because the people were, people were there and they were forming back there, but there was already people up on the Capitol area, right? So
yeah,
it took a few minutes later, dude. It was just like, what the hell? Flashbangs and all this shit, dude. And all it took for me was to see this guy get hit with a freaking flashbang. This old man, he had like a black vest and a cane, and he just went down, bro. And I kind of ran to him and like asked him if he's okay, and he said he was okay. And I was pissed.
Right.
I was pissed. And my girl, I think she tried calling me a couple of times, but she had a megaphone. I grabbed the megaphone off of her, and I'm like, "See, I'm going," because that's when the crowd. That's when a lot of people went. There were hundreds, dude.
Right.
And I made my way over to that wall where the scaffolding was, and we were just all climbing up this. Somebody had put like the bike rack, use it as a ladder, And I made my way up there. I had the megaphone in my hand. I had a vest on too. I bought 2 vests, one for me and my girl. So I had the vest already because I knew we were going to be standing in a massive crowd.
Right.
And I was big time working out then, dude. I was big boy then, and I hurt my back like 2 days before I even went working out.
Shoot.
We was doing squats, and so I was sore as a bastard. So I was like, yeah, extra protection. And I bought one for her, but she decided not to wear it. She said it was too heavy.
Oh, shoot.
So I didn't even get him back yet. I think my lawyer said he has them, but he's supposed to give them back to me, but he hasn't reached back out to me either. But anyways, I was on the wall, so I was using my megaphone because what was happening was everybody was so like agitated at that point after they got bombarded with that. I mean, those munitions. Those munitions came out of nowhere, dude. That was the weirdest part of the whole thing. That's why I always say like there's something wrong. There was something wrong with it because it didn't make sense when you're that far away, bro. So if somebody's hassling you and you're like 2 feet away from them or 5 feet away, right? And there's a bunch of you hassling, why would you go 50 yards away with munitions to antagonize, like, I don't know, to antagonize the rest? Because that's what did it, man. That's all it took. Some people went backwards and a lot of people went forwards. And, but people were climbing up that bike rack, like so just like agitated, but there was old people, bro. And I always have that issue with old people because they're old, dude. And you can't be disrespectful. You know what I mean? You got to like relax, chill. But the way they were climbing over these old people, bro, is like fucking death, bro. So I'm like, stop. Slow down. I did that for like 5 to 10 minutes until this fucking kid came up. I'll never forget this fucking kid. And he came up and he's like, "Well, you shut the fuck up." And I'm like, I look and I'm like, I'm not stopping these people, bro. There's fucking hundreds coming, dude. I'm like, so I just fucking said, okay, fuck this. And I just went down. I think it's like I call it like a rail, but it was the cement from the stairs, I believe, that led up to the west side of the Capitol. And I spent some time there filming. And I remember taking my phone and like filming the crowd because the news is like, oh, there's like fucking 30,000 people or whatever. I'm like, yeah, fuck you, there is. I fucking, dude, it was way more than that there. So I was filming. I'm like, yeah, okay, news. There's 30,000 people here. My ass, I said, right. And it was just, there was so many people. And then I tried calling my girl, and the thing was there's no phone service. I tried texting her. I tried texting my son. There's no service. I did that for a few minutes, and I'm like, fuck. One thing about me is I'm horrible. I get lost easy, bro. Like, you can put me in a hospital, dude. I'm done. If they tell me it's okay, you can go now. I'm like, yeah, well, take me. You know what I mean? Show me the way. You know what I mean? Because I don't know how to get out, dude. So I'm like, oh, I'm just going to fucking stay here. So I fucking made my way to the east side with the rest of the crowd was just kind of starting to flow then, you know what I mean? Or the north side, sorry. And the crowd was just starting to flow in, but the north side was already a mess. The north side, when I pulled up, there was already a crowd. There was a couple of agitators up at the top of the stairs. Because I call them agitators because they were hands-on with the police back and forth. They were the only two people I seen like that at the time. And that really got people riled up, you know what I mean? And I stood there for a few minutes and observing, and then it just started getting like more chaotic. Then I just started using my megaphone, saying stupid shit. You know what I mean? Like I was saying stupid shit on Facebook before the event. You know,
right?
Because we don't know. Like, we never dealt with like people holding against us shit we say on Facebook. That's never happened before. Usually we say shit on Facebook. We're not, we're not held accountable for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's bravado shit. We're all, we're all in on that. So that's why when that shit came up in court, we're like, oh God, really? You guys are going to use everything I said on Facebook against me? But I was walking down the street on the way to the Capitol. I'm going to grab Nancy Pelosi by the hair and fucking twirl her around. Oh, that got me the most shit. Like, I'm like, come on, man. That's like, hyperbole, man. Like, you can't physically pick her up by the hair and fucking twirl her around, even as big as I was back then. But I mean, come on. But nope, you said that. That's, you know what I mean? You massage shit. You can't say that about a woman. Obviously, I was never gonna see Nancy Pelosi. I was never gonna, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
But at the north side, like I said, I had the megaphones, talking shit. Like, I remember one point I was like, let's get into the Capitol, put that shit on the news. So my main charge that got me in trouble was I threw a flagpole topper at the closed door, and on purpose, I threw it when it was closed, and the police were behind it because I wasn't there to hit the police. I had all the time in the world if I wanted to attack police. That's not why I was there. My aggravation was with the government, stemming from COVID, and then the election pissed me off too because it was so fucking weird too, just like COVID was weird.
Right. And
I went there aggravated. You know what I mean? I was already aggravated, so it didn't take much. The munition thing, seeing a guy get hit was enough for me. So I did that, and then I only did it once. And in court at the end, they tried saying like, oh, he was throwing the metal ball. So here's the thing about court is so much stuff, but like before I got charged, so I got charged with the 1512 felony too, like a lot of guys did, and when they dropped it, they updated my fact sheet. So what they said when I threw the metal ball topper, all of a sudden it grew a pole on it. All of a sudden, after the fucking 1512s dropped, the fucking flagpole topper grew a pole. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that thing didn't have a pole. That thing was beautiful. It was so fucking round and shiny, and it was a beautiful fucking metal ball, small little flagpole topper. So, I told my attorney right away. I'm like, well, dude, what is this, dude? You can't like sit there and add shit to the facts now because they dropped the 1512. And, these lawyers were horrendous, by the way. These public attorneys, bro, they were like, I don't know if they were scared or they just knew the outcome already. So they didn't really want to engage too much with evidence or anything. So much evidence left out. So he's like, yeah, but they're not bringing it up yet. I mean, we're not at trial yet. So I'm like, yeah, but they're saying it, just knock it down right away. So they tried running it in court, and then we just took the video, kind of like still framed it, slow motion, and you fucking, you know, the officers on the stand, witness stand, saying yeah, the pole and all that, and then we just still framed it, and he's like, watch the video now. My lawyer's like, watch the video, watch the flagpole, watch the ball, and you could just see, guys, as soon as I let go of the ball, the fucking somebody from behind threw a fucking flagpole. Guy, it was so obvious after that. But what they did on the paperwork was they said that I threw the ball, it hit the door, and the pole came flying off back into the crowd and could have hurt somebody. So now we're talking like, before we just had a ball bouncing off the window, right, of the door.
Right.
And now we got a pole that, you know, bounced off the door back into the crowd, but it never even hit the door. It ended up showing that it hit the wall, and it was from behind me. So that was just like one of the things. And then like the vest got left out of the scenario, to the fact that I had two and not one. And I had made t-shirts. I was going to try to sell t-shirts at the event. So I made Stop the Steal t-shirts because I do some graphic designing. So I put an order out. I was going to have mass produced, right? And they didn't get back to me in time. So it was like a wash, but like that never got brought up. So when you do these designs, I was doing these kind of like meme type designs where I, you know, Stop the Steal, and one of them I put like at all means necessary. But it wasn't the design, it wasn't the finished. It was a mock-up, but it was like a meme mock-up. It was just, you know, the last design that I sent with email, I got proof email that I had sent to have printed, just said Stop the Steal, right? Patriots must rise. But in court, they were trying to act like the one that says all means necessary was the one. But my fucking lawyer didn't back me up on that, bro. He just fucking left it like sitting. And then the police attack with the munitions, my nephew had caught some of that. So I give that to my lawyer. He hands it to the prosecution show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My whole defense was the munitions is what started this. And that one piece of evidence that I'm trying to give him, like, they don't want to touch it. None of them want to touch it. I fired my first lawyer. I let him run up right till the day before trial, and I fired him, dude. I had sheets made out already. I was jotting everything down over the months. All these, the first lawyer I had, bro, you would have killed him. You know what I mean? He was like, all we did was fight, dude. All we did was fight.
Jeez.
He tried to convince me I'm guilty, like right off the bat. First day I met him, I knew he was a Democrat. First day I met him, I knew he was a Democrat. You know what I mean? Right away.
Right.
Even my mother came with me. She's like, something's wrong with him.
Oh,
Like,
man.
Democrat. That's what's wrong with him. He's a Democrat. Exactly what's wrong with him. So he didn't even want to use. He was so like his demeanor, dude, was so obvious. He like bad actors. They're bad actors is the problem. You know what I mean? Like he would say, like I would say I have a witness, my nephew with the video, and then he'd be like, well, it's not really a witness. It's you know, it's not you with the video. It's him. I'm like, yeah, but he's right there with me. I'm in the video. And he'd have to come to court. And then right away, I'd be like, okay, we'll take him to court. Then 2 minutes later, he'd be like, well, no, he doesn't really have to come to court. And then he would change the subject. Like he didn't want to touch it. So he didn't want it. My second lawyer kind of did the same thing when it came to the witness too. He didn't want to approach with a witness or nothing. So he kind of like, my nephew called him actually, and he was like wicked, like weird to him, scared, like to scare him. Yeah, like he's like, yeah, why are you calling me?
Oh, geez.
Yeah, imagine you calling your lawyer, bro. Like you got a witness for your case. You know what I mean? Great. And you say, yeah, call my lawyer, and he calls your lawyer, your nephew, bro, who's like 20 something.
Right.
I'm calling for, and he's like, well, what are you calling me for? What do you want to tell me? Like what? So that don't mean nothing. Anything else?
Oh, man.
It was just so bad. The whole situation was just like so bad. So it's at the end, the way I look at it is like my lawyer got what they wanted. They got what they wanted. You know what I mean? In the end, because they were trying to get me to plead to like a year to 2 years to a year to 3. And like I was telling you earlier, like I already denied a plea, like right from the jump. Like I wasn't, if there's any jail time involved with it, then just put me away for life. Because if I'm going to go to jail for what I did, fuck it, I belong there for life then. I don't want to be a part of this world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it ended up working out, obviously, right? I mean, with the Pardons. So I was definitely I was grateful for the Pardons, even though it was like I said, the most minimalist thing he could have done. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, way after the fact.
Yeah. So after J6, you got back home and lived normal life for like almost 3 years before.
No. So when I got back, that's when Family Foods closed in September, right before September. And then my girl left me and took the kid, which was less than a month later, because the backlash was like she got kicked. My stepdaughter got kicked out of dance school right away.
Oh,
which she loves dance school. So that was a big thing locally. Then the newspaper hits from the paper over here. So customers were scared, a little nervous, you know what I mean? So I had to shut down the Family Foods. Family Foods was not going to work. So I think I was only out of work for like 3 weeks, and I found a space out over in Fall River, and then I'm like, I got to do something, which was hard because I just lost her and the stepdaughter and the money I was making there and that I built that took me 9 months to build.
right.
6 months to build, sorry. But so I lost all that. That was my big store. I made it. I'm finally made it. 10 years, 11 years later, I finally got my store that I wanted. And that got ripped away. So, but you got to keep moving. So, I opened up the factory, and it took a little while to get it going, but customers came back, started gradually coming back. You know what I mean? It was out of their way more. It was in a ghetto part of the city, so it wasn't really the best part of the city, but I had the deals, I was doing candy bars, 3 for $1 and all that stuff. So, people always come for deals, you know what I mean? As long as there's not, too much shit going around. So I was able to pay back a lot of that debt, that 90 grand from Family Foods. It took a couple of years, but then in July of 23, I went to a Godsmack concert the night before, bro. I'm jamming out the fucking Godsmack. This guy's been texting me for like 2 days. He's saying that he's a Boston store owner. He owns a convenience store in Boston. He wants to buy some snacks, but it's summertime, bro. I don't really get involved with wholesaling in the summer because it's chocolate, so I don't like to carry a lot of it. Never mind sell it. But I'm a nice guy, bro, and I'm just like, I want to hook this guy up like I normally do. So I'm at Godsmack, a fucking great time. Papa Roach, Godsmack, it was great.
Right on.
So I slept late the next day. It's like 11 o'clock. I'm trying to be courteous. I text him. I'm like, you're like 10 minutes late. He's like, yeah, no problem, bro. He's like, yeah, I'm already here. I'll wait for you, bro. So I freaking gets to the store, man. I guess same parking spot I always take in the driveway. Next thing you know, dude, I walk up to him, go to shake his hand. He's like, I'm not here for that. You're under arrest. And at first I thought it was a joke, so I kind of like chuckled. But when I looked over and I seen like all these FBI's coming from everywhere, I was like, holy shit, man, who am I? I'm the boss, bro. You know what I mean? Look, you got the whole cartel. All I remember is just this FBI woman was like drop gorgeous. She was drop dead gorgeous. That's like so vivid in my head how beautiful this woman was. But so yeah, they shut the street down, which is Pleasant Street in Fall River, which is a main street. They shut all that down. My landlord was like telling me later on he counted 17 of them. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. There's a lot of them, they with the help of the local police. And I just remember they didn't even read me my rights. They just kept talking about it. They were weird. Then they told me, I said, why did you come to my store, bro? Why didn't you just like call me and like, I would have came in, man. I would have just like, what the hell? This month, all this. He's like, we didn't want to cause a scene.
Jeez.
But he's saying this as they're getting ready to pull out a fucking search warrant on my house.
Right.
So you don't want to cause a scene. So that fucking trailer with FBI in front of my house, that's not a scene. So all my neighbors get to say, oh, Jay's that fucking insurrectionist here. We're going to get out of this neighborhood. So yeah, they wouldn't let me call my mother because my mother, she didn't even know, and she was on her way to the store. I didn't want her to freak out, man, because that's my mother. So I was like, can I call her? And they're like, no, not yet, no. And they did their little interview in the car, recorded, and they cut the ending of that out. Then they try to use it in court. And my lawyer's like, well, is this the original transcript? And they're like, well, yeah. And he's like, do you have a copy? Is it here? And they're like, oh, no, we don't have it with us. Like, so they didn't even bring the full transcript because it's, you know, the Nancy Pelosi thing, they were hung on it. But I said in the interview that it was her hyperbole speech. But they cut that part out, you know, so they just cut it right out. Yeah, they're dirty, man. They're dirty as a bastard, man. They're so dirty.
Had you really had they talked to you at all before that day, or was that just a complete surprise?
Just that texting, but they were acting like they were a store coming up. I never suspected anything. You got to remember, dude, this is 2 years later, dude.
Yeah.
Right? This is, they seen me like 3 or 4 days after January 6th, just to come and ask me if I was part of like the Proud Boys, essentially is what they were asking. And I was like, no, I own a store. I don't have time for anything. Like, I just don't have the time, like, to get involved with anything. And he said, okay. And he's like, if you don't hear from us again, you're all set. And you're talking 2 years later, dude, after I'm already faking. It's just stupid and weird, dude. It's just so obvious, dude. That's why all these J6s need to be taken care of, like, immediately, because what they went through is bullshit. Like, even if you hit a cop, and you did a little bit of time, you did your time. Like, because what happened there, right? Both sides, too, not just like the Capitol Police officers got screwed, too. The majority of them, they don't know what's going on either. You know, obviously we had some that were in on some shit, but like, you know, a lot of them, they had to deal with the bullshit, too. So I think you got to make everybody kind of whole again, but it wasn't normal, okay? Let's just put it that way. We know what normal is. That event was not normal.
Yeah.
There was things that happened that were definitely, you know, pushed for sure.
Yeah.
And we still don't have answers. We'll be going 5 years in next year with this. And we still don't have answers. You know, all we have is promises. So
you think you'll get those answers though, with all the videos that people are getting back from their phones and stuff like that the FBI's had?
I think there's going to be, I don't think we're going to get complete. I think there'll be some stuff left out, maybe some stuff that we all know kind of, but like they don't want to admit to, maybe, or because everything ties into each other, bro. Like, you know what I mean? It's not just the J6, the COVID shit, the election, and all that. All this weaponization shit is kind of all tied into it. And tied into each other. So it all depends on how wide do they want to open it. Look, like military, right? We're all glad that the military got their jobs back with back pay for COVID shit, for losing their jobs. But what does it say to the Americans, and the millions of them that lost their jobs? Like the hospital and the nurses, everybody that lost their jobs during COVID, what does that say to them? Are they not no better, or because they're working? Yeah. Bro, why would you not do something for them? So I don't think they'll expose the COVID thing because it's going to be too costly for them. You get what I'm saying? Everything's politics, bro. It's like they'll pick and choose who they want to take care of and how much it's going to cost them, in a sense. If they even take care of anybody, you know, who knows? Who knows? Because, you know, the people get pissed, but people don't realize it's like the more you criticize that cabinet, that administration, they'll get pissed at you, right? If you have a large crowd yelling at you all the time, you can be like, fuck you, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't want to hear your mouth no more. You don't trust me, you know, that type of shit. Like, yeah, they'll take it for a little while, but I don't think they're going to want to take it forever, right? You can only criticize somebody for so long before they get pissed at you, you know?
Yeah.
I think they know people want accountability. I think they're working on stuff behind the scenes. I don't think they're going to just not do anything, you know what I mean? It's just the scope and the extent that they go, you know what I mean, is gonna, and it's up to them. Like, you know, Trump's MAGA base they don't play around. You know, if they want accountability, you give them accountability, you're not going to be elected again. They don't work like that. You know what I mean? It's for them. It's about like, you got more faith-based people and that want accountability. When the Democrats, they just want to fucking rule. They want power. They don't care about. They want give everything for free.
Right.
But, you know, that's how they get people to like them. It's just given. They have to do that for people to like them. Those are the fucking people I used to fucking spitballs on in school, bro. You get it? They're not happy anymore. They're not happy with that. You know what I mean? They're like, look at these motherfuckers now. You know what I mean? Those are the kids that were picked on. Most of them, I mean, you look at some of these protests, these people all look the same, bro. They all look the same. They do. They look like tree huggers, you know? They really do.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? You know what I mean? So it's a certain group, and it's all give for free. Nobody has to work, man. We're just gonna give for free. You know, we'll pay you. And they say the stupidest shit. They don't even know why they're at protests, half of them. And nobody's that vicious, bro. If you're a faithful person, you're not that vicious to people. You're just not. You're just not. You just can't. You just can't be. So it's just so telling and so obvious. So Twitter time has to be. You have to level out your Twitter time. You stay on Twitter all the time, you go crazy.
Yeah, for real.
You gotta duck in and out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't regret it only because what were we supposed to do? What were we supposed to do? Like, what were we supposed to do? You know what I mean? If nobody showed up, like, what were we supposed to do?
Right.
So we had to show up. So if you love your country, you're gonna show up. What was going on back then it's gonna go down in history, bro. It's the weirdest time ever in our country, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So this transgender shit and all this is chaos.
Right.
It's chaos. You know? So it's just goes to show you how many weird people we have in our world. Pay attention.
It is a wild world.
4 years of just allowing them to take over? Nope. You got to equip your spitballs and start fucking getting them spitballs going again. You know what I mean?
Right on. Did you even make it in the Capitol that day?
No.
Oh shoot.
No. But I think it's because we stood for the whole speech, and I think that had a lot to do with time. It seems like the people that skipped some of the speech or the whole speech were the ones that made it in.
Right.
And then the ones that like stood the whole speech, they didn't make it in because they were already shutting it down after they were letting people in. They said, "Okay, enough. Get out now. We got the pictures the video we need. Get the fuck out now."
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, I get it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like Clay Higgins and like he's got all that information. It's like, what are they sitting on, dude? One minute you're saying they bussing him in, you got proof of bussing him. It's just don't say nothing unless you really got it, because you're just hyping people up. You know, you just like the J6 fund. Yeah, we a lot of people talking about. They're patriots. A lot of people. Trump's been saying for months now that we're patriots and we were treated like nobody's ever been treated before. You can't say that, dude. And like hey, anybody want this fucking $5 million gold card? Do you guys want to buy some Trump meme or some fucking Melania meme coin? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't worry about the J6s. They'll be in a mental institution. They'll be fine. Nobody's got to worry about them. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got to take care of these people, dude. You have to make these people whole. You got to give them something for now because they're struggling. Most of them are. Some of them, like I said, it all depends where you came from, what you had before. I mean, if you didn't have much and you were content, then yes, some people just want to wash it. But if you had a lot, family is a lot. The veterans, military, a lot of military was involved.
Right.
That says a lot right there. These are your people. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you got to make them all whole again. People got killed. People you got suicides afterwards. Dude, it's insane. When I heard about Matthew Perry, I was just like, this is like the fucking most abuse I've ever seen in my life. From an event like, and that's all letting it slide. Like even now, just letting it slide as people are suffering. You know what I mean? Every day, letting it slide while people are barely making ends meet. Maybe the electric shut off today. They're robbing Peter to pay Paul while they're over there playing tariff games. They have so much money, dude. And so, you know what I mean? Call Zuckerberg, fucking tell him, if you want to take it easy on the antitrust lawsuit, give me $1 billion or $2 billion. I need some money. J6 fund. That's his smartness. He like that. If I could think of that, he definitely, he knows how to get money. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, the Doge checks wouldn't.
That shit pissed me too. Yeah,
that wouldn't fix your life per se, but that would help us all out.
How do you think Americans love sitting there every day, saying, yeah, we just saved $5 billion. We just saved $10 billion. And people are going to the fucking market and they're like, what's going on? My groceries are low. And these guys are over here saying, yeah, we just saved this. We just saved that. Where the fuck is it, dude?
Yeah.
That's like fucking dingling carrot over somebody's fucking head all the time, dude. You don't do that, dude. You know, unless you were going to give it like right away, then yeah. But you guys are like, come on, man. Because you guys are all rich. You guys are all rich. You don't get it. You don't understand.
Right.
Trump was born into money too. You know, he's a hard worker, but you can't come with a mentality like everybody's got that going on. You know, you gotta have some kind of compassion, man. You can't be like a blowhard like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's the best of the. He's definitely the best of all the choices. He's doing, he's doing his thing, and you're lucky to have him. But come on, man. You know, God gave you a mandate, dude. Fulfill your mandate, bro. You know, you're gonna lose support if you don't take care of the J6s because God don't fucking sleep, man. He'll take it right back off you, dude. You know what I mean? And that's why you see this support in the community coming up, and they're yelling because you're not fucking pulling the wool over our eyes, dude. We're not stupid. You know what I mean? We're not stupid, and we're holding him accountable. Millions of us, millions of people.
At this point in time, if you could go back in time, would you do this again?
I'd have to, because I'd have to, because I didn't go to jail. Aside from that day, it ruined my life. But what else do you do? What the hell's life for? We were gonna lose it anyways, bro. If Trump didn't get in, we were done. Bro. We were done. Like all of us J6s, I would have been sentenced on March 14th to probably 5 years, 6 years. I would have got the max, because now they got everything. You know, they won the election again. They got everything. So we were all screwed. We were all screwed. Even the people that didn't go to jail would have been screwed, right? Because they would have been labeled the rest of their lives, dude. They would have never got nothing. They would have ended up in jail, killing themselves, or in a mental institution. Because that would have carried them forever. Because now the public's now you got the majority of the public thinking of them as insurrectionists because there's no narrative getting out there. You know what I mean? So yeah. What do? You have to, bro. What are you gonna do? I mean, who wants to live in a world where you can't say none? I just got sectioned for a song I put online a few weeks ago for 7 days. The cops came and pulled me out of my house using J6 as a fucking reason. Dude, if I had a lawyer for civil rights lawyer right now, I'd be rich. Because what just happened to me, but I can't get a lawyer in Massachusetts. I don't get return calls. You know what I mean? I don't get people, there ain't nobody lining up to be my lawyer. Nothing I can do. There ain't nobody coming to save me. I got court next month. I'll probably go to jail for child support. Who knows? But ain't nobody coming to save me. So it is what it is. It's like, that's what I'm saying, though. This whole thing, this ongoing leaving people just to, defend, find out what's going on with these people. See what they need. Find out and see what they need. Do something, moral. You know what I mean? That's beyond meme coins and tariffs. And, I get it. You're saving the country. God bless you. But take care of your business first. You know what I mean? You never be America first if you're going to, put your mistakes last. You know what I mean? Take care of everything. Take care of your business. He'll learn. He's either going to do the right thing or he's not going to win. It's just going to be just that simple. We're already seeing it now. If you got all these Democrat protests, you got them all riled up, and now you have J6s fighting back against the administration, all pissed off. So many. You can't have, you know what I mean? You got to kind of like show these people that you're doing the right things. You know what I mean? So, hey, who am I? I'm just Jenny from the block. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
I'm just Jenny from the block. I ain't nobody, dude.
Right on.
Listen to me or not, don't matter to me.
No, I get it.
But I want to go protest again. I mean, I'd take a bus up there myself and go sit in front of the Capitol and demand some kind of, restitution or something, because we've been waiting for so long. It's like, why not? I'd be all for it. And it would make a splash, and the news would be there. Take a few hundred J6s standing outside there, wherever legally, obviously legally, but I'll sleep there, bro. I won't even. I'll freaking sleep there. They can come. I'll do another little newscast every day, right? This is Lala. I'm here with Mike St. Pierre. He hasn't eaten in 2 days. He's on strike.
I get it.
Trump be like, yeah, just give him a fucking, a coffee and a donut. He'll be all right.
Oh man, I really appreciate that you brought up donuts, because donuts have been a significant part of my life the last couple of days on an outside issue that I probably shouldn't say on air because I don't want to get in trouble related to my job. But when we it's an interesting thing.
You gotta tell me later.
No, I'll tell you now. This picture right here, this blue one. I'm a custodian, and there's kids at my employment, and he's a special need kid. So he painted me this picture, and then the blue one right behind me, I can't really point at it. I bought him donuts as a thank you, and that became quite a big issue to where now I have to get all acts of kindness approved by his teacher, which I think kind of diminishes the whole act of kindness. But
oh my God.
Yeah, it's turned into a big fiasco. I think it's mostly a control thing, but
that's where we come, though. That's where we coming, and that's local. That's your local judicial dude. It's all in the. It's all locally. It's a mess. We're so far from getting this right now. It's gonna take so much time.
Right.
It's because it's been going on like behind the scenes for so long.
Right.
They've been putting them everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all I call it. I call it compassion in disguise, because it's like they always try to come off as they're compassionate for everybody, but they're really not compassionate for everybody. They just want everybody to be able to do what they want, except for the people that are against them.
Right.
So whether it's you want to be transgender, or you want to be whatever, whether you want free food or you want assistance, as long as you're voting for them, it's just a weird party to be associated with, dude. It is. Even if I hate Trump like to the max, I wouldn't be able to sign on with that. Like I would have to be an independent at the end of the day, because it's just, how do you sign on to it? You know what I mean? Can't put your signature on that unless you're really miserable person.
Yeah.
And people are miserable.
Where did the middle road Democrats go is what I want to know. Did they all come to the right?
They got swallowed up, dude.
Yeah.
They got swallowed up. It's like the strongest man wins. It's kind of like bullied. They got bullied into it. Like I said, right? They got spitballed, dude. They lost the spitball fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right on.
So yeah, it's just the way it works. The more aggressive person, will take control, right? And you got all these old people, and you got the younger ones coming up now, and they're really pushing, all that ideologies that are not based in faith at all. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what happens.
They're vicious too.
Those protests, there was all old people there. Fucking all old people getting pissed off like they're gonna have a heart attack, dude.
Damn.
Like they're violent. It's insane. It's
right.
Insane. That they believe this shit that's insane, and it's just like, how do we get here?
Right.
How did we get here? You know what I mean? And Trump's that guy with the mouth that's tough to love. He's changed. He's changed since that Butler shit. You can tell he's toned it down a lot.
Right.
But unfortunately, in this country, we don't like honesty. Unfortunately, if you tell us something in honesty and we don't like it, we get offended, and that's why we have such bad issues.
Yeah.
And it is. It's just honesty doesn't work. There's no more conversation. It's yelling. And social media is the main issue with this country, because we're not supposed to be tied like this. We're not supposed to be tied. It's like, how it is, man. You're trying to cut through all the noise on Twitter, and it's just chaotic, dude. It's chaotic. You need an Adderall to pay attention to on Twitter, dude. You know what I mean? It's like,
no, I hear you.
It's bad,
Yeah.
So if you just focus on what you're doing and your message, and stay away from the noise, and you just keep doing that, man, you're all set. But it's hard to do. But if you do that and you stick to your message, then you'll get your following. You know what I mean?
Right.
It is. It's hard. It's hard, depressing at the same time. because there is a lot of baloney going on there. And
Right.
then, it's like people think, I think I put a post today, but it's like people think because somebody's got a mass following that they're like the most intelligent person, but it's just that they spent the most fucking time on the platform.
Right.
It's obvious, it's facts. You know what I mean? Like if we spent 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day on Twitter, bro, our following would just keep going up, dude.
Right.
Like day. But you gotta really have the motivation for that, So, some of them are really intelligent, of course, but a lot of them, no, that's not the way it is. It's just
Right.
they put more time in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's disheartening. And but I think at the end of it all, I think history will tell a much better story. It has to. And but my main thing is just like taking care of people like now. Like people are suffering, and I hate. That's what bothers me the most. Because we're all on here, me included. We're always trying to wait and see. Wait and see. And you get thrown a bone here, information a bone here, but it's like it's too late. It's already too late. It's from a religious kind of standpoint. Like I said earlier to you, I don't know if you were caught him, but like I said, it's like you got to do the right thing, and you got to do it. You got to do it, regardless of politics. It doesn't matter if it's a private fund for now, then you do it. So be it. But do the right thing. You can't tell people they're patriots and they were treated more unfairly than anybody ever. You can't keep saying this stuff, dude, and you're leaving them suffering. And they're suffering. People say today, I hear people saying, does Trump even know? Of course fucking Trump knows. What? Right. Of course he knows. Of course Trump knows. Of course he's known for 4 years that we're suffering. He's not stupid. He's not a stupid guy. Some people act like he's stuck behind the Oval Office and nobody's talking to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not on social media all the time. He knows the trending topics. He knows it. He loves attention himself, so he's always on that shit. And people tell him, it's everything's politics. So yeah, of course he knows. So that's what pisses me off more. It's because he does. I know he knows, and he's not doing enough.
Right.
Do it and get it over with. If you just take care of these people, you're gonna put them in a better position. They're not gonna be as aggressive on you because we're not going away, bro. We just keep turning it up. Like I said, we can just go protest, make them look worse. You know what I mean? So just take care of it and then do your thing. And then, if there's class actions and stuff, those are going to take time anyways.
Right.
Anybody right now.
Yeah.
It's just going to have more stories, of what happens if something happens to a J6 between now and the next few months or something. It's just going to hit the news. This J6 that did this J, you know how the government works, right? It's like they want to persecute you. And then when you do something, you go to jail, baby. You know what I mean? It's like I'm gonna make you fucking mental, and then if you react, you're going in jail. And that's the unfortunate truth with society that we got going on in the government. It's just dangerous, dude.
Right.
Yeah, it's dangerous. So that's my take. That's my take on things.
Yeah, Mike. If someone was to hear your story and there was a main message that you hope they get from that, what do you think that'd be?
Oh my God, listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. I think we have too many people that believe something that somebody else says, and all they're doing when they do that is they're showing their insecurity because you have your own mind. So why ain't you believing what you say, right? Why would you believe something else that somebody says? Unless it's a topic, obviously, that's complex that you don't know nothing about anyways. But always go with yourself and do your own research. But yeah, I think that's the main thing. It's just, be yourself. Yeah, be yourself. Listen to yourself first and foremost. If it's something doesn't feel right, or you're not into something, and you're not believing something, or you're on the fence with something, just don't jump on a bandwagon. Like the story that just came out with who they hired for FBI, right? And everybody jumped on that, right? That bandwagon with what's his name? Steve Jensen.
Yeah, it seems.
Oh, Jensen. And then you see what happens, right? Is like everybody's attacking. Tons of people are attacking because one person said this and then the other one says that. And that's dangerous.
Right.
Because you got to retract that shit later on. It's digital. It's digital, and I've caught myself doing it a couple times in the past, and I try not to do it anymore because now I kind of like I said, I only follow certain people. You know what I mean? Depending on
Right.
what their intentions are. But yeah, I would say just believe in yourself because you know you have that power. You have that power to make your podcast success. You know, I have the power to get myself out of a rut. I really do. If I really want to like leave my house and give it up and you know start from the ground up again. I don't feel like any of us should have to do that. But
Right.
if it comes down to that, we don't have a choice. But everybody has the power to do it, you know, to do exactly what they want. I mean, as long as it's within reason. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
delusional, if you're delusional, then we got a different issue. You know what I mean? They got medicine for that, I guess. I don't know, but delusional people make it all the time too. A lot of times, how you make it, you know.
I think maybe to be completely successful, you have to be slightly delusional, at least by mainstream society's perspective, anyway.
Or just put a couple tattoos on your face, bro. Just bypass all the bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
Bypass a couple tattoos on your face and start doing some rapping.
Yeah, there you go.
You're in there. It's easy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Man, like 20 years ago, that would have been a dream, but now I'm too old.
No, we can't do it now, dude. We can't do it now.
Yeah.
Especially the women our age. They ain't into that, dude.
No.
They ain't into that.
No.
But robots coming soon, so we'll be all set, bro.
Yeah.
You'll have the finest lady ever, guy. And smart, dude. Yep.
Yeah.
She'll run your whole podcast for you, dude. Not even that. She'll bring so many people to your podcast.
Yeah.
Bro. Yeah, dude.
We're getting in a crazy world, man.
We are.
No doubt.
I don't know. I can't even picture us living like that.
Yeah.
Because we're already so divided, and we're so online motivated now that I can't picture us like even being like more divided where people just start saying, oh, I don't want a relationship. I have a doll. I have a whatever. I have a robot, dude.
Stepford Wives type stuff.
Yeah, that can do so much more than you. Because it's like, you know, like Lil Wayne says, you can bleep this out, but like he says, like when I come to my senses. That's how I live my life now. You know what I mean? It ain't worth, you don't buy it. It ain't worth it. You know what I mean? It ain't worth it because you live alone. It's good. You're golden. You do what you want. Nobody to entertain. There's nobody to answer to.
Yeah.
They're only going to leave you anyway someday. You know, unless you're rich.
Well, even then, you know.
That's the way I look at it. You know what I mean?
It's a tough world for that too.
Yeah, everything's gone to like. I mean, maybe Trump will bring it back, man. Who knows? Maybe this is the start of bringing everybody back. Who knows, dude? I think you have to saturate the social media with bots. You'd have to use bots to. Once bots start going, like I don't know about you, but I get it in my messaging all the time now.
Oh yeah.
And it's annoying as hell.
Yes, it is.
Now, can you imagine when you're online and we're on Twitter and shit, and now we got bots responding to us all the time? That'll take us off social media real fast.
Yeah.
So if a lot more of that starts happening and starts saturating social media, that'll be your divide off of social media. And maybe people will start getting back to real, unless that scumbag Zuckerberg comes out with the virtual reality and everybody's walking around with that stupid shit too.
Yeah. The metaverse. He's still working on that?
Yeah. Who, him?
Yeah.
His life guy.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
I just haven't heard much about it for a while, so I didn't know.
Yeah, that's all him. He wants to be a cool guy, dude. He wants to give himself a kung fu title in there. Like the last guy you fight in the game in a virtual reality guy.
Oh man.
Zuckerberg. Yeah, I don't like him, but imagine that guy. Imagine that guy, dude. All he did to this country, and he's not in jail.
Yeah.
He's another one responsible for how many deaths, like crazy. So yeah, get a couple billion off him for the J6. Why don't you? You got to take off a scumbag and just give it to the good people. That's all.
Right.
But yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you. Anything else, let me know. But
right on. I appreciate it, Mike.
No problem.
You have a good one, and thanks for stopping by and discussing your story with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, and keep doing them.
Right on.
One a week if you can.
Yeah, I should have another one on Friday for sure. I got a couple other people I'm talking to, so we'll see when when I can get them in. But
Yep, I'll share it, of course.
Yeah, right on, man. I appreciate it.
I'll help you. I'll help you promote it.
Right on.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, Mike, it was great meeting you.
Everybody else too. God bless. Take it easy, bro.
Right on. Thanks, man.